and make tea and come in with the 2 cups, one for you and one for me. These are words that I've heard mentioned over the last year or so, and that would try to, just for a few minutes, just straighten out the pronunciation and the meaning. Biography. Biography. Autobiography. Autobiography. Obituary. Obituary. Nuptials. Whoa. Nuptials. 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 It's all like N-U-P. Nuptials. S-H-A-L-S. Nuptials. 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 What is a biography? What is a biography? A biography. A what? A biography. A biography is the story of a person's life. The biography of the President of the United States, the first President, George Washington. Here is a biography, a book on the life of the first president, a biography. The life of a person. The life story of a person. Where he was born, his parents, when he went to school, when he went to college, when he started to work, and all. His whole life in a book. A biography. I am going to the bookstore to buy a biography, of the first president, George Washington. Oh, okay. Autobiography. Autobiography. Well, obviously, it's a biography, whereas this is a biography as well. The difference is that someone other than George Washington wrote the book. But in an autobiography, it is the biography of the life of a person, and the person who is the one who wrote the book or the biography. In other words, it would be a biography, an autobiography would be the life story of a person written by that person. It's just the equivalent of automatic. Runs by itself. It's automatic. It runs by itself. Autobiography, written by the person that the story of the life story is about. So if it was an autobiography of me, it means I wrote it. Whereas if it was a biography, it's somebody else that wrote it. Do you understand that, the idea? Autobiography, self-written. I sit down and I write my own life story. Whereas if it's a biography, somebody else sits down and writes my life story. It's a biography. But if it's an autobiography, it's written by the person that the book is about. Obituary. Obituary. Obituary.
best story
Notice on this.
What?
Notice on this.
Obituary.
Notice. Notice.
It is a, well, it's,
Notice of this.
obituary. Right. When a person dies, many times it'll be either on the computer or in a newspaper or somewhere. There'll be a report that the person has passed away. A notice, that's probably what the dictionary says, a notice of death, an obituary, that Mr. Smith, who was 89 years old, passed away yesterday in Bangkok, Thailand. He was born on such and such a day. His parents were Mr. and Mrs. Smith. He lived here, he did, and that will go down. And the services to honor Mr. Smith will be held on Friday at a certain place at a certain time. And that is the notice of a passing away, a notice of death, an obituary. Obituary. The shortness, to short, it's just obit. Did you see the obit on Mr. Smith in the paper yesterday? He passed away last week. Oh, no, I didn't see that. Yeah, his obituary was in the Bangkok Post yesterday. What are nuptials? Right. Very good. Nuptials would be a similar notice, but not an obituary, obviously, but a notice of a wedding or a marriage that is going to take place. The nuptial announcement. It was announced that Mr. Smith and Miss Jones will be married next week at a certain place at a certain time. And the nuptials were in the paper, printed in the paper. Wedding announcement. Nuptial, obituary, autobiography, and biography. Everybody get the idea? Biography, autobiography, obituary, and nuptials.
obituary enough how to pronounce
What?
nuptial
Nup, N-U-P, nuptials. Nuptials. Nuptials.
It's like to inform somebody about to like to information to somebody.
Yeah, it's an information that two people will be married at a certain time, at a certain place, in a certain city.
But it's not an announcement, right?
Yeah, it's an announcement of the wedding, a nuptial announcement. The announcement is being made in the newspaper so that everybody will know that Mr. Smith and Miss Jones are being married next week at 10 o'clock at the church or at the temple or wherever. And that is a wedding announcement, the nuptials.
You would say that Fisher Margaret has passed away in New York. This is the obituary. This is the obituary.
Well, it's an obituary if it's written out in a form. It's not just you saying it. You can say, oh, there was an obituary in the newspaper yesterday that Mr. Smith passed away.
You just talk, just speak.
Well, you can talk about the obituary, but I mean, just chatting is not necessarily the obituary. The obituary would be the time and place of the services to honor the person that's dead, a little biography of the person's life. He was born on a certain day. He lived in Bangkok for so many years. He lived in San Francisco, and this and that. Just a short really biography of the person's life. But to just talk about it that a person died, that's not necessarily the obituary. You can say, did you read the obituary in the paper yesterday? That would be the obituary. Biography. There'll be a biography coming up pretty soon, Jacques, Captain Dreyfus. There's going to be a movie made about the French officer, Captain Dreyfus, who was falsely accused of being a spy back in the early 1900s or late 1890s. Jacques will be a biography about Captain Dreyfus. The movie's going to be made this year, I think, so it should be a pretty interesting film. But it'll be a biography about the French captain. Autobiography, it's self-written book about the person's life. I wrote my biography. It is an autobiography. Automatic. Obituary, a notice of death. Nuptials, a notice of a marriage about to occur. Any questions about those words? Pronunciation, biography, autobiography, obituary, and nuptial.